Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joey and I make interesting videos. I hope they're interesting, but I do make videos about the interesting places that I find online when I play the geography-based game GeoGuessr. So, without much further ado, let's find out what rabbit hole I'm going down this week. Ooh, okay, where are we here? We're in Italy, surely. Yeah. Can we narrow down whereabouts in Italy? It looks pretty rural. Having said that, that looks reasonably built up in this direction. See if we can get a bit closer to civilization. That's a nice attention to detail. It's a nice bit of block paving. We've got a flag as well, just to help us confirm things. Got men working. What am I looking for here? What am I aiming to find? Rita. Don't know her. Oh, and I'm just in an alleyway now. Right, get out of here. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Oh, have I bypassed civilization? This round has not gone well for me. It's not gone well. Right, let's squeeze round here. That's an interesting poll, isn't it? Very interesting. Am I thinking southern Italy or middle Italy? I've got 15 seconds to pick a team. And again, it's just more adverts for music. Aviso. I'm gonna go around here. And it was not too far away, 77 kilometers. We were in a place called Ponzano Romano. This location is actually pretty special. Now, we were on the back streets on the outskirts of town, and then somehow, instead of going straight ahead, I ended up going left down this alley, which took me right back round to the outskirts of town. Little side note, if we'd have gone straight ahead when I accidentally turned left, we would have found these road signs, which would have been a great help in narrowing down our location. But what makes this place special is viewing it in 3D mode. Then you suddenly realize just how breathtaking this landscape is. Just south of the Tiber River, the town of Ponzano Romano sits 205 meters above sea level in the Italian region of Lazio within the central Apennine mountain range. Since official records began in 1871, it has maintained a steady population of around 1,000 residents, although the first official record of its urbanization dates back to the 13th century, and it is speculated that the hilltop's first residents were the Etruscans 2,700 years ago, as they used it as a lookout to spy on their rivals, the Sabines, who were based on the opposite side of the Tiber River. Now later I am going to pull a few more threads on the town of Ponzano Romano because it is a very interesting place. But first, let's discuss the rights and wrongs and everything in between of the round that I just played. Now, if we were to just take our opening frame and pretend that we were playing no moving and just look from this spot, there were enough clues to give us our approximate location. First, we have Italian writing. That's a pretty big clue that you're in Italy. But without even really looking at the word, we could see a word that ends in O-double-C, E-double-T, and then an I. That's Italian all day long, although that doesn't exclusively mean that you are in Italy. The southern Swiss canton of Ticino has Italian as its official language, and road signs in that area will exclusively be in Italian. So just because you can see Italian writing does not mean that you are in Italy. Now from this frame, we can see the vehicle's blurred out rear number plate, which is a big clue that we're in Italy. And if we could see the front plate, that would be an even bigger clue that we're in Italy. Even if it was blurred, it would still be all we need to know. And why are these plates so special? Well, this is because unlike most European plates where there will be a strip of blue just on the left-hand side, Italy has a blue strip on both sides of the number plate. A good way that I've come up with to remember Italy having blue on both sides of their license plates is that Italy has an ocean on both sides of the country on its east and west. If I were to take a screenshot of the map of the country, just this little rectangle, add a blur, it would kind of look like this number plate example from Plunkett.net. Now the final clue that we saw from this opening viewpoint were these trees in the background. Now I believe these are stone pine trees, also known as umbrella pines or parasol pines. And according to this map provided by RMRG, who are legends, when stone pines are found in Italy, they are most likely associated with the region of Lazio, with their density and frequency increasing the closer that you get to Rome. Now they do also grow in other areas of Italy, are a historic symbol of Rome, with the city of Rome alone having 60,000 stone pines. I do have one more observation to make about this opening frame, but I'm going to have to rewind to point number 1 and the written Italian language. If we were to zoom in on this sign, we can see the town name, Ponzano Romano, written not once, but actually twice. And we can also see an Italian web domain and also an Italian mobile number. Another thing of note that we kind of just zoomed straight past in this round was this guardrail end cap. Now we actually saw 2, well we didn't see 2, we drove past 2. But according to Plunkett.net, these are exclusive to Italy. And I'm going to try to remember this being Italian in that the end caps do kind of look like farfalle bow tie pasta, but you do have to use your imagination a little bit there. Now this pylon has caused me quite a few research issues. I've gone down several rabbit holes, I've spent a couple of hours looking at various European polls, and I cannot find a similar one. So if anyone knows what this is, please let me know in the comments. Now I said it at the end of the round, and I'll say it again now, I think that I was pretty lucky for guessing as close as I did with the knowledge that I had at the time of filming. So let's take a step back for a moment and look at the broader picture of region guessing Italy. Broad strokes, it's greener in the north and drier in the south. The north tends to look like rural Switzerland, and the south tends to look like rural Greece. Northern Italy's alpine regions of Piedmont, Lombardy, Trento have that classic Sound of Music alpine mountain range style. And then just beneath the Eastern Alps we have the Po Valley, also known as the Padan Plain, and it is one of the flattest areas of Italy. This is Italy's agricultural heartland, growing a vast array of cereals and grains as well as fruits and vegetables. And the shape of the plain kinda looks like the Puma logo, and that's how I'm going to remember this flatland, is a puma called Po leaping away from Venice, because a puma is a big cat and Venice has lots of water and cats don't like water. That's a bit tenuous, but it's definitely going to work for me. Hope it works for you as well. Now, southern Italy, such as Calabria, Puglia and Sicily, are much more arid, rocky and pale. And looking at these 2 maps from Plunkett.net, these areas in southern Italy are common areas where cactus and citrus fruits grow. So if you're looking around and you think to yourself, yeah, I could see a citrus or a cacti growing here, southern Italy is where you want to plonk. Now central Italy is kind of just a mix between the two, with the Apennine Mountains in the middle and then fertile lands heading out to the oceans on each side. But there is one way that we could region guess where we are without actually looking at the region, and that is by looking at the surnames and what letter the name ends in. Again, thanks to RMRG, this map shows us the surnames in central and northern areas such as Tuscany, Emilia-Romagna, Umbria and Lazio, that surnames almost exclusively end with the letter I, such as Maldini, Balotelli or Totti, whereas in the south, surnames are much more likely to end in an O, with the more common Del Piero, Baggio or Pirlo. I'm going to remember this as I being before O in the alphabet, and so I is northern Italy and O is southern Italy. And now, just onto the weird spawned off rabbit holes that I've gone down whilst I've been looking into this place. First, I wanted to see the origin for the word Lazio, as I'd heard of the place, I'd heard of the football club, but I never quite knew what the word meant or where the word came from. And it comes from the ancient Latin word Latium, which was the historical region inhabited by the Latini people of ancient Rome. Now, there is not a huge amount to do in Ponzano Romano, but there is one very unique attraction, the only museum in Italy that is dedicated to Christmas festivity, the Museum Emencuti. Now, I'll be honest, I wanted to have a look at the reviews and sort of take the mick out of it and have a joke around, but it is just lots of people saying they had a really nice, wholesome time with their families, and now I feel bad, and I also want to take my family there. Now, Ponzano Romano also has its own contemporary art gallery. Now, I couldn't find any information about recent exhibitions, but this image from an exhibition in 2023 centered around the Roman phrase memento mori, which translated from Latin means remember to die, which is a bit dark, and memento mori is often symbolized by a black skull, and it is an ancient philosophical reminder that life is fleeting. So focus on the present and live purposely, and instead of being depressing, it is intended to be liberating. And I kind of needed to hear this, and when I finish making this video, I'm going to go outside, touch some grass and smell some flowers. Back on the outskirts of town, we also saw these posters in the Propaganda Directa or Direct Propaganda Zone. Now, this doesn't look like an official direct propaganda sign, I think it is just A4. Now we see this Aviso sign, Public I Notify sign, and then next to it, something that continually caught my eye throughout this round, a poster that we actually saw at least 3 times with the name Rita Sebastianelli. Now I thought this was going to be a singer or a performer playing a show in town, or maybe some sort of visiting religious dignitary, but no, this is actually the opposite of that. Today I learned that in traditional Italian culture, it is very common to announce someone's passing with a funeral notice or a death announcement. And I'll be honest, this wasn't the ending to the video that I was expecting. This has all got quite morbid quite quickly. Having said that, we have just learned about the concept of memento mori, so maybe we've come full circle. Now, the translation of Rita's funeral notice states that she doesn't want flowers, just donations to charity. And so I did Google, what charity would an 83-year-old lady from Lazio want me to donate to? And it suggested the Caritas Italy. And so I have made a small donation. I then read a little bit closer and realized that she said no flowers, but at no point did she say no trees. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to plant a stone pine tree in her memory? And that's when I learned one last thing today. I learned that you can get stone pine saplings delivered from eBay. This one's for you, Rita. GeoGuessr is an interesting game. You never know where it's going to take you next.